Hello. Hey guys. Happy Monday. We're rocking and rolling here. I am just going to get this um, party started here. Mindset muscle workout today. Let's see here. Okay. We're going live on Facebook here. All right. Just give me a few minutes here. All right. I think we're live. All right, you guys.
Good morning.
Hi. I am still in my basement. We actually have a home where we decided to change. Instead of having an office, we decided to put it as a guest room, because we just have a ton of family that always visit and whatnot, and then technically it was always an extra room in case my mom needed to stay with us for any particular reason. So I have the basement, but it's actually my husband's man cave, so it's not really a actual office setup. So I am sitting on the floor in my basement just because I needed an outlet and all that stuff. So how are you guys doing? Did you guys have a nice weekend? Oh my gosh, Nicole, that was amazing, that meal that you put together. Did it just taste like it sounded look like it tasted really good?
It was amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did you add any like extra spices or anything? Or did it just have enough flavor?
I didn't. I thought it had plenty of flavor.
Nice. So yeah, and it looked like it was, you could just eat it and just feel, a good fullness for a good amount of time.
Yep.
So yes. So yeah, it was obviously the most popular show. I'm telling Noah he needs to apply to be on the Food Network. But he's going to have another show for you this upcoming Thursday. So for all of you guys, make sure that you check that out. So hey Karen, thank you so much for coming. Margaret, Terry, always loving you showing up. And I think that's Patrick in iPad 3. So you guys are awesome. We are on week 2. I don't know about you guys, but I watched the movie Contagion. And I still went to Target. So I must be made out of steel. Not gonna lie, my dad, who actually is a family practice doctor in Wichita, sent us a couple of boxes of masks. So thank goodness. Although they're not necessarily like the cloth masks that they're recommending, but they're at least those surgical masks. So got my mask, went to Target 6 feet away, didn't touch anything unless I was buying it, and went home, took a shower, laundry. But has anybody seen that movie? It came out a couple years ago. I kind of want to say 2005, but I'm not sure. But it had Gwyneth Paltrow in it and Matt Damon. But just to let you know, it was eerily similar to what we're dealing with. So I don't recommend it unless you have if you're made out of steel, you're not bothered by that stuff. So, but all right, you guys, well, it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to get started. Welcome to week 2 of the Healthier Than Ever Masterclass. You guys are amazing. We had so much fun this first week. We learned about just sort of the basics on what you needed to control. And just a reminder, you need to control your choices, not your environment. Hey, Ruth Ann, thanks for joining us. And then we talked about how to order healthy options from restaurants. So just believe it or not, if you make subtle changes and they seem very small, but they start to add up, and you can literally cut your calories in half and still enjoy a nice meal and not feel too guilty that it is, a delivery or dining out kind of meal. And then we talked about how to exercise without having a gym because the gyms are closed. Resistance bands have been always a great staple. It is something that you can do literally in your own home, your own basement. You can take it outside. For those who have to travel for business, you know, down the line, you can easily put that in your suitcase. And then finally, Thursday, Noah gave us some great recipes on how to meal prep and really sort of make a lot of different dishes from sort of the same type of like proteins and food choices. So, all right. Well, I am so excited to kick off week number 2 today. Monday is always my favorite day because I tell you, you guys, you know, if you remember my little triangle, the triangle of maintenance, mindset is first. Then you have mechanics, which includes like nutrition, your body chemistry, and your metabolism. And then the third side of the triangle is movement. And as you recall, the secret of maintenance is that you have to address all 3 ends of the triangle. That's why they call it the triangle. And then number 2, it actually has to go in sequence. You have to fix your mindset before you fix your mechanics, before you fix your movement. And if you go into that triangular sequence, then your journey and your weight loss results, I promise you, will come so much easier. So I see Colleen joining us. Thank you so much. And don't forget, you guys, this is a classroom event. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, or you can get in the chat box. So today, the title of it is Mindset is the most important muscle to work out. You guys, if you are working out 5 days a week and you are cutting calories to the point where you're not eating on Sundays, you will not lose weight unless you fix the most important muscle of all, and that's the mindset. So I'm going to actually give you guys a little bit of just a quick story. It won't take you too much long, but for those of you guys who don't know, I wrote a book on Amazon. It's a bestseller. Woohoo! It's called Fat Girl Funeral. So I'm going to put that in the chat box here. But believe me, I asked a ton of people before I put the title on the book. Honestly, I was the only one who probably didn't want to put that. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to get a lot of people that are angry at me, and oh my gosh, I used the F word and all that stuff. But I'm going to actually give you the story behind it and how did I even come up with that phrase. So I remember it. It was actually one of my very first patients, probably in about like the first month that I started my practice, and I had a consultation with a new patient who actually had bariatric surgery. And this was back in 2012. So she had like bariatric surgery like 5 years ago. She had lost over 100 pounds. I kid you not. It was like, it was successful, and she worked hard. She worked out. She had to change her eating habits. And then she came to me for a consultation because she said literally in a blink of an eye, she gained that weight back. And I tell you, it was probably, one of the most emotional, consults that I had, is because she had worked so hard to get those 100 pounds off. And literally, I kid you not, it probably took her just a matter of a month or 2 to gain it back like that fast. And it made me very sad. And she was just like, she had said, Dr. Tran, during my entire journey, I went through the surgery, I worked out, and I literally was eating out of a cup that was literally the size of my stomach. But she said that every time she looked in the mirror, she saw herself fat, even though she worked so hard to get to literally her normal weight. And then she said, in 2 months, she said, I kid you not, she just gained weight, 10 pounds here, 5 pounds here, another 10. And all of a sudden, she literally just lost control and went back. And it almost was kind of like a slip out, but I just basically said, girl, you need a fat girl funeral. And I was like, because she kept seeing herself fat in the mirror, even though she was physically at a normal weight. I said that you have to work on your mindset. If you continue to see yourself in a certain way, you know, that fat girl voice, unfortunately, is that negative inner self-critic that is just going to keep you from wanting the life that you want. Okay, so give me some comments in the chat, or even in, if you guys want to unmute yourselves. Do you guys, let me know what kind of struggles have you had with just this inner, you know, negative voice that keeps coming out. Let's share each other some of our thoughts here. So let's see here.
I think for me, Dr. Tran, even when I'm at my heaviest, and then at my lowest weight, which was probably back in when I was a teenager, I never really felt any different. Even when I was thin and felt healthy,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel any different then than I did when I was at my heaviest. But my heaviest was, I guess it was just more the feeling of it, not necessarily the way I looked.
Yes.
It was just the feeling of that. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of struggle with I don't know if it's an emotion, or if it's just, I don't know if it's negative or positive. It's just that feeling that I have when I am heavy and how I feel.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you brought that up, because you're absolutely right. When you feel something, you're going to base your decisions based on how you feel. And so if it's positive, guess what? You are going to go out to the gym and you're going to exercise and you're going to, you know, make the healthy choice. But if you have a negative feeling, like for you feeling heavy, you're going to say, what's the use? You know, no matter whether I eat too much or eat too little, I'm just going to be the same way. And then it drives you to make these decisions instead. And so now it's twofold, okay? One is, guess what? Being negative is actually our normal. Now I'm going to say that again. Believe it or not, being negative is actually considered normal for us, because think about growing up being criticized, and, you know, not whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, we're criticized. No, get off the couch. No, you can't have candy. No, you really can't become an astronaut. That really is unrealistic. And so we are actually training ourselves to be negative normally. And the problem is that it's usually coming from the people that are close to us. So starting from our mom and dad, to our siblings, to our teachers, to our pastors, to our neighbors, and just like it almost feels really wild. It's really very, you know, parallel to this virus. Negativity is contagious, you guys. So that's why we have this quote, fat girl funerals, because negativity is normal. And if we don't catch it, then it's going to drive us to do things. So yeah, Nicole, gosh, and, you know, makes me so sad. Yeah, your uncle called you Chunksville. I mean, I tell you, you know, at his, you've heard the phrase, you know, fat kid at heart, or those you know, the baby fat thighs, thunder thighs. Kate says this conversation is reminding me of a great book. Oh, Atomic Habits. Yes, I'm so glad that you brought that up. Absolutely one of my favorites. If you guys, you know, you guys might have some extra time in your hands to read, this is probably one of my favorite books too. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it really talks about our lives being driven by habits. And that's really one of the secrets to maintenance, actually, is this: if, you know, if you identify the bad habits, but then, you know, rework yourself to good positive habits, then you can actually really be successful at managing your weight. Now, here's the key about habits. Kate puts, the habits of a fat person versus the habits of a healthy person. They are two different people, you guys, two different thinking patterns. But guess what? They exist in the same body. Okay? It's literally a switch. You either are, one person or the other. But because it was, quote, normal to be overweight because you were conditioned to be thinking in that pattern. And so that's why when you join our program and we really, work through this thought process, we're actually opening up the same side of you that already existed, but you just needed to condition yourself to the thin and healthy person. Does that make sense for you guys? So who else has another story to share? Maybe an incident of just being negatively sort of trained. Anybody want to share? Like I said, oh, hey, Kate. Thanks for joining us. Hey, it's so great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Happy, unhappy quarantining, everybody.
Yes.
Something that's coming up for me, Dr. Tran, as you're asking the question is, and I link it to this idea of the book, that so much of certainly my behavior throughout my life has been linked to an identity, right? Mm-hmm. Identify as being a fat child, which I did. I identified very closely. I was the fat one. Then in due course, my habits and behaviors reflected that belief. Like, okay, well, if I'm a fat person, this is the thing a fat person's going to do. She's going to order this large ice cream and she's going to devour it right now. And whereas in times in my life where I have lost weight, there has been something about shifting an identity or shifting the conception of myself. My identity is a fit, healthy person. And as a fit, healthy person gets up in the morning and goes for a run, and she chooses, a salad with lean protein instead of, whatever. And the other part of this that has always crept up is I have one sister, and she was always very small and fit, and slim, and ran marathons. And then I was the other sister, the bigger sister. So there's something about that duality and that, that part of our identity that gets shaped very early that's tough to shake as well.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. I mean, you already kind of put that up too. I think sibling rivalry also can play a big role. And again, the identity, you even sort of accidentally already kind of gave out your cards because you were considered the ugly sister. So not only were you the fat sister, but you were also the ugly sister or the slower sister or the stupid sister, or, and for me, I just dealt with not being smart enough. Not that my older siblings were mean or anything, but I just felt like I was the weakest of my siblings, which is funny because I did post the other day, we all became doctors, which is the funny part, but I felt like I always, when my friends would say, Angela, gosh, you're so smart, you made straight A's, you were valedictorian, and I said, I'm not smart, I just work harder. So I didn't even give myself permission to even, what Kate said, identify with that person, whether it meant I just didn't feel like I deserved it or I wasn't worth it because I was the third one. There was just nothing special, to me. I just had to keep in line with my other brothers. And then again, and this is something I even talked in my book, my first grade teacher told me I was stupid and was never going to keep up with the gifted class that I had applied for. Now, this is the first grade. I mean, you're literally 7 years old. And I still remember being told stupid by my first grade teacher that, oh, these gifted class, they're just going to go surpass you. So you guys are just this opening this Pandora's box of this is not anything that just was yesterday from the moment that you were born. we're being conditioned around these things. Now, fast forward to adulthood, here is sort of the secret. Now you guys actually have control of believing whether that thought is true or not. So that's the secret. You can't fix the negativity and the criticism from other people, but you can fix whether it is actually true to you or not. So I'm going to type in the chat box here. This is a common phrase, a very special formula that I want you guys to keep into your heart here. So it's everything starts with a thought, then it turns into a feeling, which is what Karen said. Then it turns into an action, and then it turns into a result. Okay, so I typed that into the chat box here. So if you guys want to kind of write it down or take a mental note, if you want anything change in your life, and again, the atomic habits, literally, it honestly, I don't think it really takes, quote, 21 days to necessarily change a habit per se. It all starts with a thought. Okay, so that's the first step that I want you guys to identify is, okay, so there's actually a formula to fix this. And so if I wanted to fix kind of like, okay, I don't feel like I'm up for exercising today. It's Monday, I'm tired, I feel like, I had to hit the ground running type of thing. If I wanted to change that, I need to go back to that origin of thought. Okay, well, why do I feel lazy? Well, it's just because I'm stressed. Well, why do I feel stressed? It's because it's overwhelming. Well, how do I fix the overwhelming if like, oh, well, I can totally do this. I've done this before. I mean, Monday is not any special day other than it's Monday. I can totally get 10,000 steps today. I really don't have an excuse because I didn't have to get dressed and go to work today. All of a sudden you went from like kind of literally how fast my thought shifted to what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. I tell you guys, it's so magical and it's so fast. And I think that we're reliant on like, gosh, I need to like get motivation, or like, gosh, it's going to take me several days or a month to change what I do. And like, nope, it actually is based on the thought. So I want you guys to, number one, recognize that there's an actual formula. So just like a golfer, I don't know if you guys enjoy golf, probably not, because it takes a special person to enjoy golf, but think about it. These people practice their swing every single day, but some people, believe it or not, Tiger Woods sometimes will only spend 15 minutes on a swing. True story. Guess why? It's because it's actually more effective to practice a swing for 15 minutes because it's the right swing than 8 hours on the wrong swing. Do you guys understand that? Yes. So yeah. So yep. So that is the first step. Thoughts, feelings lead to actions and results. And Karen, again, I'm so glad that you're ahead of the game, because feeling is really what sort of drives us even more than our heads. Because again, for example, stress, we feel the stress, and it creates sort of this panic and this anxiety, and we do not like to be uncomfortable. As human beings, we want an out ASAP right now, and if we don't have a right safety net in place, yeah, we're going to grab chocolate, we're going to grab those cookies and whatever things just to make ourselves feel comfortable. But we have to fix those feelings, but we have to fix those thoughts. That is what originates and drives our actions and results. Okay, so number one. Okay, so number two. So how are we going to work out that mindset muscle? How are we going to change those thoughts? So this is a very easy exercise. I'd love for you guys to do it, and maybe we can share sort of our success stories later in the week. But all I want you to do is take a blank sheet of page. Now, some of you guys have gone through this exercise before if you're a MedFit member, but I just want you to draw a line straight down through the middle. And then on the left column, I want you to put non-supportive belief. And then on the right column, put supportive belief. Okay, so the exercise is, okay, just like what non-supportive belief says, let's just write down all of the negative thoughts that come through our head. Now, I'm going to give you guys a scary, scary statistic. We go through 70,000 thoughts a day. That's the average thoughts that we are in a day. Now, think about what percent is actually negative. You know, some of you guys might say, 69,000, maybe 7,000, 70,000, you know, maybe it's 50-50, but just think about, you know, what percentage of your thoughts are negative versus positive. It went to, we're like, you know what, I'm not going to get dressed. I'm not going to take a shower. I'm just not going to even like put on makeup. Boom, negative thought right there, right? Versus like, yay, it's Monday. It's going to be 70 degrees. I'm so excited. And I have some time to go outside. You know, maybe Haley will want to ride her bike. You know, that's a positive thing. So I want you guys, I'm going to write this in the chat so that for those who are listening on the replay, non-supportive on the left column, and then supportive on the right. Okay. Now, a lot of this can be overwhelming. Some of you guys are able to list out. Some of you guys, it might actually trigger an emotion. So I want to give you guys a heads up that, you know, this is going back to sort of that fat girl funeral. You're really now confronting that fat girl voice. And the reality is that you're going to write a whole bunch of different statements that are negative. It may be 10, it may be 20. In fact, you may even just like keep going and you almost feel like you can't stop. But I'll let you know that these sentences have a general theme around it. So even though they may have 50 sentences on the left column, it actually revolves around a pattern. Again, for me, I've always struggled with not feeling smart enough. That has just always been my challenge. Thankfully, fast forward today, I always say to myself, okay, I can't, you know, getting through medical school, you kind of have to know some things, right? I don't think they really, you know, allow lazy people to get through. But I want you guys to start recognizing, wow, what is the pattern? Or again, in James Clear's book, that what is the pattern of existence? What is just kind of my day-to-day thought pattern and originate? I'm going to put that also in the chat. Pattern of existence. That really means, where do I live? Am I truly a negative person, but I didn't realize it because it was so normal? Versus, am I truly positive, and is it effortless, or do I have to force myself to be positive? So those are the things I want you to explore. And then on the right column, once you're done with the left, then I want you to reconstruct that negative sentence into something positive. So let's say, for example, I'm not smart enough, and then I'll draw an arrow, and then I'll put, I made it through medical school. I'm fairly certain I had to have some smarts to get through that. Or for those, you know, Nicole, you know, I was told, you know, Chunksville all throughout my childhood, and then, you know, go to the right. I'm like, what do you mean I'm Chunksville? I've lost so much weight and I'm still going, you know, I feel so great, you know, type of thing. I am, you know, active, and whatever you need to do to reconstruct that is how you're going to start with the thoughts. Okay. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? This is, like I said, a very simple yet complex exercise that I really, really encourage you guys to do, because it is so eye-opening for everybody. So let me kind of hear your thoughts here. What are you guys thinking about here that's coming to mind? Hi, Kathy. I saw that you joined us here. So you and I have come a long way. So I know that you've had your fair challenges type of thing. How can we help you stay positive? Because I know that you've gone through a lot of stressors.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just sitting here trying to come up with the negative and the positive, which I tell myself every day. Okay, I lost the weight before,
Yep.
or a good chunk of it before
Yes.
my first time around. And now all these bad things happened and it's right back where it was.
Yeah.
And why can't I discipline myself better now than I did before? Because I knew I could do it then. I did it then.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the difference? You know, except for the physical stuff. I mean, you know, it just doesn't seem like it should be that hard.
Yeah.
And yet, when I feel like I've had a good day and I get on the scale a day or two later,
Mm-hmm.
like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's not showing up, you know, and then I get so frustrated.
Yes.
If I see a loss, even if it's a little loss, it's like, okay, you know, we're on a downward, you know, trend now. And then the next time I get on the scale, it's back up again. It's like I can go up and down 2 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever. It's like this constant thing. It just doesn't, I don't get a consistent
Mm-hmm.
downward trend. And I don't, you know, I get frustrated with myself and say, well, maybe this is what I'm just supposed to be.
Yeah. So this is where you go back to like, gosh, why am I being so down on myself when that scale doesn't move? That's where I would want you to start. Yeah. And then you can sort of go beyond that. Why is it not worth it? And what is struggling for you? You actually said something very key in the beginning. You said, I've done it before, I can do it again. And that's the thought that you need to put on top of your right column that needs to trump the 10 on the left. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And it's like
Yep.
I don't physically have the paper,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and see it, but I say it to myself in my mind every day.
Yes.
You know, it's like every day, you know, it's like it's a loop. It's just
Yep.
it doesn't, when it comes to me caving in or being weak or forgetting that I ate and didn't eat and then say, oh, it's too late, I'll just skip it and I'll eat my next meal,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I'm off my schedule. And it's
Yes.
like, you know, whatever, it's not going to matter because the scale's not going to change. Whatever.
Right. If you had a chance, I think you would really love that book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, because what you're saying is all habit. You've been doing it for so long, it actually is starting to look normal. And that's why it's a struggle, is because that is normal for you. And you're trying to create the new normal, which is not so easy. But you know, that's why you're here, and we're here to help you. But I really want you to focus on, okay, what is the new normal for me? That's why it's just a struggle. It's just because it's still new. I'm seeing the comments here. Margaret did a fantastic comment here. So she said, I've always been a negative person, and here for me to be positive. If someone asks me if my glass is half empty or half full, I say my glass is in the dishwasher. That's fantastic. So I'm going to tag along that, Margaret. Who have you guys ever kind of felt like a half empty, half full? Why don't you put it in the comment section? What's your natural response? Half full or half empty? Let's put that in the chat box here. And then I'm going to give you guys my answer. You're going to get a kick out of this here. So half empty. See, yes, Nicole, half empty. And Colleen says, Colleen, you're kicking butt. You know, you cannot slow down. You are just literally, this is like the best time for you to just like clearly just go to the finish line. Kathy says half empty for Terry, for someone else full, for myself half empty type of thing. So yeah, so again, feels natural, right? Nicole, you look like you were about to say something.
Yeah, just a thought too on, you know, trying to change this mindset and be positive and those kind of things. I did a exercise with Jess a while ago about the people that are closest to me and who's supportive and what that looks like. And if I surround myself with supportive people, then I'm going to achieve a lot more than just the weight loss piece of things. The whole mindset will be different. And I will feel better, and recognizing who those people are and who are those not so supportive people in my life. That was really, really helpful for me.
Yes, no, thanks for sharing. I'm glad. I'll hold that thought, because that's actually what I was going to ask next for you guys. Kate actually put more than half full, but my problem is that my positivity or need for celebration is often accompanied by the desire to eat with wild abandon. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's just like this, and it just kind of goes back to, well, why do you need to celebrate, which is usually the desire to eat? And think about it. It's because your original thought was half full. That's why you had the desire to satisfaction, because you were half full. That means you were incomplete. So, so one of the things that I want you guys to kind of think about, this is humorous. You know, I'm kind of an honorary person. When someone asks me if I'm half empty or half full, my answer is I have a picture. That's it. So whether I'm half empty or half full, I always have a pitcher. I can pour more. When I'm empty, I pour more. When I'm full, I don't need to pour, but I have a pitcher. That's my answer. And that's what I want you guys to think about, is that it doesn't matter whether you're half empty or half full. You take care of yourself so much that it's the feeling. Karen, going back to Karen, it's the feeling. You know, what I see is the glass, but I feel like I have a pitcher. So it doesn't matter what the glass looks like. Does that make sense? And so going back to Kate, okay, well, great. So how do I feel that picture? And so that's when we go back to like, okay, what is not satisfying to me? But again, it goes back to this deep root of like, I'm not good enough, you know, I'm constantly, you know, criticized or whatnot. How do we sort of kind of get rid of that? And just like, okay, well, you know, I am good enough because I have a picture, the type of thing. Nicole, this is where the next thing, you're absolutely right. The reason why we feel certain ways, or what I call pattern of existence, or what are normal, is the people that we're hanging out with. Okay, so that's the third step. Okay, so we've got thoughts leads to feelings, leads to actions to results. The second step is a column of non-supportive and reconstructed to the supportive. Number 3, who are we hanging out with that is actually, whether it is negatively feeding into that mindset or positively feeding into that. A perfect example is right now, who in your life is telling you, oh my God, we're going to totally die. This country is just going to go down, and, you know, it's never going to be the same. We're never going to be able to hug and trust each other. And we're, you know, 6 months down the road, and then Trump's going to ruin this country. And, you know, all of this stuff, you can see it on social media. You can see it with your friends and family, and you can see it with, again, even the news. Again, I love my husband to death. He's like so into CNN. He always wants to look at the statistics and all this stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't really see. I don't want to see how many people died today. I just don't. You know, versus, actually, I saw this on a social media post the other day. Why aren't we quoting the 150,000 people that survived?
Yep.
So rather than focusing, oh my gosh, you know, 600 people died in one day, nobody is actually quoting, well, the 140,000 people made it through because, like, Tesla and Ford are making ventilators, and, you know, all of the people who aren't working right now, rather than just kind of like, you know, I know that they have some hardships. They're taking, you know, sewing machines and making masks for everybody. Some of the restaurants, you know, it's so sad, the restaurant industry, but they decided, you know, I'm going to make food for the healthcare workers, type of thing. So believe it or not, it's actually easy to feel half full or supportive when you're hanging out with half full and supportive people. So think about that too. Hey, guess what, you guys? It actually might not even be your fault that you feel half empty. You actually might be surrounded by people who feel half empty too. So that is something that you really want to think about. Now, here is the problem. Majority of the people that you hang out with are the people that you love, the absolute closest people that you love, you know, type of thing. So it's not necessarily we have to get rid of it, but you just kind of have to know who you do need to be hanging out with or feeding, you know, positive thoughts. Yes, Kate says gratitude creates a flow, a stream of energy or rhythm, and if we kick it off, then it's easy to remain in the vein to continue with that energy and that spirit of positivity. Kate, I mean, you should be just teaching this class. I mean, this is awesome. I tell you, it is absolutely true. So that's why we're talking about mindset is the muscle you guys need to be exercising every day. It's not
See,
so
now,
much. Yeah.
I did, thinking about the, you know, talking about the family and the supportive and who isn't, who is. My family, my kids, my sisters, if I say something about my weight, they say, "You're not fat."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, "No, Mom, you're fine. Don't worry about it." And it's like, but I do worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this other part of it where it's like, I don't know if they don't want to hurt my feelings, you know, and stuff, but I know what I am. I know what I see in the mirror.
Yep.
I know what the scale says, and it's not what they knew me as when they were little kids. So
Yeah.
I know that they've seen there's a difference, but nobody will say, yeah, work on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they
Yes.
just say, "It's okay, Mom, don't worry about it."
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and it's like, I just get this, why are you telling me this? You're lying to me. And, you know, I don't want to say, and I have told them, don't lie to me. Yep. I know what it is.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad
still,
you brought that up.
Nobody will step up and actually say, I mean, my older sister, she's had weight problems, you know, and through some other health issues, you know, she's lost a lot of weight, but she's supportive when we talk about it. She says, you know, we'll try this or do that, you know, and, you know, maybe we can do things together. Oh yeah, you can't because of your oxygen. You know, it's always like, but she's there. She's more there to help. She won't say, you know, how bad I actually look. Nobody will say it.
Yeah.
It's like the elephant in the room. Nobody's going to talk about it.
And here's the trick. You're hanging out with half empty people who want you to be half empty too. And so that's why I want you to write down these thoughts, because sometimes, wow, it sounded like a positive thought, but actually at the end of the day, it's not. And so that's why writing it down allows you to kind of make that differentiation. But I'm glad you brought that up, Kathy, and this is for you guys too. You know, you have to think about, sometimes these comments seem supportive, but it's almost like, wow, you again, half empty people want to hang out with other half empty people because it's the norm. And you deciding to work on your health and making something better of yourself feels like a threat or a reminder that someone else is struggling too. So you want to just kind of take an inventory. And like I said, the sad part is that you are getting these kind of comments from your closest friends and family members. But again, this is where you want to go back to, okay, there are, again, 70,000 thoughts that are going into my head. And then there are probably 70,000 plus thoughts from other people that are going into your head. Now, it's your own responsibility to be that filter and deciding what is actually true and what's not.
Because I assume that they are saying one thing out of their mouth and thinking a totally different thing. Telling me that I'm okay, it's not bad. And then when they see me, you know, do they walk away and said, "Oh my God"?
I'm listening to a
Sorry,
a
I'm
class.
trying to mute Margaret here. Oops, there we go. There you go.
So
Yes,
it's like,
Sir
you know,
Kelly.
what is coming out of their mouths, but what are they really thinking on the inside, and what do they say to themselves? And those are the thoughts that I think. It's like, if I see somebody I haven't seen for a while, I walk away and think, oh geez, what are they, you know?
Yeah, and remember, it's not your job to argue, and you tell yourself that. Your job is to tell yourself what is true and what you choose to believe for yourself.
Because I won't go meet girlfriends for lunch because they haven't seen me for a while, and I don't want them to see me.
Yeah, and it's tough because So yeah, I'm glad that, you know, again, that's part of what I want you to work on. I know that a lot of the times you worry about not being able to exercise, you know, and then also not following the plan. This is also part of the quote diet that you need to work on to just make sure that you're following that formula again. What are you believing for your own thoughts that are leading to your own feelings, actions, and results? Type of thing. So this is a great topic. Like I said, you know, you guys, I encourage you guys to, if you want to keep the conversation going, obviously our Dr. Transformers Facebook group is, you know, private with just people in there, or if you want to private message me, but obviously we can talk about this all the time. That's why I wrote the book. But I just really want you guys to get back down to the core, because although it may seem like next to impossible fixing the mindset because we've been working on the negativity for so many years, I tell you, you fix this and the weight loss will come down so fast. You won't even like recognize yourself, you know, after this whole quarantine. You just do the dirty work of fixing up here and things will literally drive you out, you know, to get you what you guys want to do. So before I finish up here, does anybody have any like last minute comments or just even comments or words of encouragement for each other before we just go out there and keep working on our mindset here?
I just want to say we got this. Weight
Yes.
loss, Corona.
Woohoo!
Got it.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. I mean, yeah, we're in this together, and you guys hanging out in the Dr. Transformers group is part of that mindset muscle. Some of you guys don't have a good surrounding supportive system. That's why we created in here, so that you can have that, you know, balance of just hanging out with people who get you and support you. So this was definitely one of my favorite topics. I could talk about this all day long. Again, I really want you guys to encourage you to, if you have any comments, you know, put it in the Facebook group. If you really want to talk to me one-on-one, please private message me, email me. I'm here for you guys. We are literally going to get this through together. And I know some of you guys are already losing weight and kicking butt. And after all of this is done, you guys are going to be way ahead of the curve, you know, as opposed to some of those people struggling. So don't forget, one of the things that we're telling all of our patients, and this is whether you're a MedFit member or not, meal replacements have been the life-saving thing to get through the next, you know, couple months. So I know that you guys, you know, it's been hard grocery shopping or meal prepping, or just so stressed that you just don't even want to think about food. Let us know. We're taking orders to just get people products. Again, you don't have to be a member. So if you want to just get, you know, some shake soups and bars just to help you weather through this, you can just email me at Dr. Tran at denverweightlossclinic.com. I'll put this in the chat box here, and we'll get you guys taken care of, because it's so easy to just not have to think about it. and not feel guilty about the products. I'll let you know, I already had a shake this morning. It was awesome. I didn't have to think about it. It literally took me like less than a minute to make, and I don't feel like I'm gonna have problems for the rest of the day just having that grab and go. So okay, all right. And then for those of you who really need our help, I tell you, this is the absolute best time to be on a diet. I swear, not eating out, not hanging out with your friends who are negative. If you really want to get on a plan, the MedFit team has gone total virtual. It's been great. We literally have made it a smooth transition. So go to denverweightlossclinic.com, or again, email me. Let's get you on a plan. And the MedFit team is actually very busy, taking care of our patients. So you guys are doing awesome. Tomorrow, Stephanie's going to talk about foods that boost your immunity. It's awesome. She's got so excited. She's already got a ton of ideas and a ton of different research and clinical studies to do what versus not do this and whatnot. So make sure you guys come back same time, same code at 11 tomorrow, okay? You guys have been great. I love you all, and let's keep the conversation going, and we'll see you tomorrow, okay? We'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.